Hey everyone and welcome. In this video we look at a report that the Tories are going to allow hundreds of thousands more people into Britain. Now before I go further, I'd like to state this video is not based on opinion of who, it's based on how. It's titled, Britain Get Ready to Welcome Hong Kong Refugees.
And I do believe that we have rotten politics, and I'm not using that as an exaggeration.
Boris Johnson has a secret plan to allow hundreds of thousands of Hong Kong citizens to come to Britain if China clamps down further on the former British colony. Have you seen what's going on in Hong Kong? Scuffles break out in the Hong Kong Legislative Council over China's new national security law. The controversial legislation could threaten Hong Kong's traditional freedoms. National security laws are routinely used on the Chinese mainland to jail critics of the ruling Communist Party. The consideration of the law sparked months of anti-government protests last year. A previous effort to pass such legislation was shelved after massive street protests in 2003. This time, Beijing is circumventing the lawmaking body using what critics say are dubious legal grounds. I really do feel sorry for Hong Kong people. Their backs are against the wall, literally. And any other time I would possibly be championing them to come here, to be honest. But it is a huge but. We can't possibly take any more. We've got the border taxi service letting a lot of illegals slip past them, who knows how many, and aiding the ones that they actually catch. The Home Office saying words with no substance. We have a huge illegal issue and mass immigration issues which has crippled our housing market. We've taken a huge hit on our economy with the lurgy. Jobs have been lost and we pay to save the world. I'm sorry, Hong Kong, we can't help in my opinion, unless the Home Office clears out some of the illegal immigrants first. Let's read. The revelation follows moves by China to introduce a resolution that would bypass local law and in effect end its special autonomous status. The move by Beijing follows months of pro-democracy protests against the communist regime's strengthening grip on the city. China is now pushing for an improvement in the basic law that defines ties between Hong Kong and Beijing. It could include a controversial national security law that seeks to ban treason, secession, sedition and subversion. That could be passed without consulting Hong Kong legislator and would mark a fundamental change in how Hong Kong is run. So effectively they would lose all the freedoms. But the Sunday Express has learned that at a meeting earlier this year at the Prime Minister's official country resident, Chequers, Mr Johnson told MPs that he could be prepared to give Hong Kong citizens refuge. It is unclear if this will include just the 315,000 who hold a British national overseas passport and their extended families, or the 7.5 million population, most of whom had the passport until 1997. That passport allows visa-free travel to the UK but not residency. The proposal is that the refugees from the Chinese would get full passports. Now, at this point, I would like to actually state, how the hell do they expect us to take 315,000 minimum, 7.5 million maximum? Where do they think they were going to import these people? I don't understand how they think that this could even be an option. But am I wrong? Am I seeing something? Am I seeing a huge wall here where there should be a hole? I mean, let me know what you think, everyone. The meeting at Chequers saw unanimous support for the move. It is similar to the campaign to provide full citizenship to Ugandan Asians in the 1970s when they were persecuted by dictator Idi Amin. Yeah, but at that moment we hadn't gone through a lurgy crisis, and probably half of the country are already without a job and the other half are possibly going to be out of a job very soon after. You see what I mean? There is a huge difference at the moment. I don't think it's possible to be able to help them at the moment, to be honest. In my personal opinion, that is. One of the families to come over then was that of Home Secretary Priti Patel. Oh, here we go. We've got to think of everybody else first, obviously. North West Leicestershire Tory MP and Andrew Bridgen, who is one of 183 people to sign a letter demanding action on Hong Kong, what do they expect us to do other than just open the borders to everybody at every opportunity? We clearly have a moral obligation to those residents. Why do we? Especially those with British overseas citizenship, given the Chinese crackdown. Sensitivity to the issue in Beijing has even seen the regime black out BBC World broadcasts in mainland China when the new law was discussed. But last night, experts warned that few of the 315,000 British national overseas passport holders will be able to take up any offer unless it is extended to families. So 315,000 and their families. We see how it's jumping up all of a sudden. While this would be welcome, it is essentially a symbolic gesture, said Evan Fowler, a fifth-generation Hong Konger and founder of Hong Kong Free Press. There's anger at the fact that BNOs are non-transferable and don't apply to children or spouses. The elite have other passports too, but they're highly invested there and won't be looking to leave unless the Chinese close down the Hong Kong club. Of the rest, 90% aren't financially able to relocate even if they were. They would not leave their families behind. A list of 183 politicians, prime ministers, illegals and human rights experts and diplomats who have condemned China's latest move is led by former Hong Kong Governor Lord Patten and former Foreign Secretary Sir Malcolm Rifkind. The coalition represents 23 countries and shows the growing and widespread international outrage at the decision by the Chinese to impose national security legislation in Hong Kong, said Lord Patten. Now, what are my feelings on this? I really do wish we could help them. I do. I feel for the Hong Kong people. I really do. I mean, they're losing everything at the minute, aren't they? And to give them credit, they are fighting, but they're fighting a losing battle, aren't they? In regards to shipping them over here, with whose money for a start? How are we going to house them? How are we going to look after them if it's 315,000 minimum and they all want to bring their families? That's going to jump up to most of them, is it not? I just don't think economically, statistically, service-wise, we could cope with that sort of a vast increase in numbers that quickly. We're nearly crippled as it is, in my opinion. But let me know what you think, everyone, on this one. Would you let them in? Do you think we should possibly, if any come, we need to remove some of the illegal immigrants because they've come in illegally? This is going to be legal migration, is it not? If the government are saying it's allowed, I would rather have legal migration than illegal migration, especially untracked illegal migration, which is what is going on at the minute. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit the like, comment, subscribe, hit the share button, share it out to your social medias, everyone, and I'll see you on the next one.